Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to your Dandy Nisemonogatari. Tonight we're on Nisemonogatari episode 7. So, what happened last time? That's a fantastic question. Quite frankly, I'm so glad that you asked it. Araragi talked to Hachikuji, Senjugahara, a little bit of Tsukihi, and then Shinobu. The kind of most important plot point that's has to do with the current arc is that Karen, while still sick, semi-sick, right? I mean, she's not as sick as she was, but while still having some sickness from the bee, is gone. She's missing. So who even knows what happened there? It could be anything. She probably just left to go fight the guy. And I do want to let me make something clear real quick. We'll talk about the comments, maybe do a little bit of scroll through, and then go to the episode. But before any of that, I actually have already watched the first 6 to 7 minutes of this episode because I was watching the show last night, or I was doing this all the recording last night, right? Did the intro, got 7 minutes in, got interrupted by real life stuff, and then after that it was just the energy was gone, so I just scrapped it. So we're giving it another go. I know what happens in the first 7 minutes roughly. Araragi and Karen meet up and then they fight. That's about as far as I got mentally. So we're still gonna rewatch it. I'm just gonna rewatch those 7 minutes, which I think is totally fine. So just wanted to clear the air on that. Now comments. So starting from the top, Hachikuji's line of "body of a child, brains of an adult," reference to Detective Conan. True and real. I looked up Detective Conan and she poses with the glasses and all that, and this is a quote from Detective Conan. So yeah, 100%. I just have never seen any Detective Conan. That just reference goes over my head, which is just how it is, right? I'm sure that's one of many dozen references that go over my head with this kind of show. But that's the fun part, because look, you can keep, now I know about Detective Conan. I've become more cultured. Isn't that exciting? This was funny. There's something about talking about what you talk about while wearing a FOPTA shirt. Hope you don't wear that outside. Lol. Okay, I mean, true. True, I agree with you, and I'm not gonna wear the FOPTA shirt outside. But think about it. The FOPTA shirt was a meta-narrative, meta-textual, ironic, postmodernist, thematic element. It was a meta move. It was a move. It was all planned, okay? This something that you're talking about here, this something, that was planned. That was calculated, was it not? So, because think about it. Monogatari is has a lot of the sus stuff, especially with Shinobu and the lolly kind of stuff, right? So in my brilliance, I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear my FOPTA shirt. This is the first time I'm gonna wear it on camera. This is gonna be so exciting because she's you could draw comparisons there, though I never really went into the lolly stuff with Made in Abyss, right? But man, this is exactly what we're talking about. Planned, calculated. Definitely, I'm not coping. I just think this was funny. And yeah, I'm not, dude, imagine wearing that outside. People would give you such weird looks. Have you seen those cars that are just covered in waifu anime memorabilia? I respect it on one hand, because that's a level of confidence that, few people have. But on another hand, it's just oh boy, that's a lot to take in. Anyways, true and real. Yeah, Hachikuji teases Araragi a lot. I agree with all that. So I mean, I agree with all that. She's a very teasing person. There's kind of this part. He also wasn't calling her not an adult. He was just asking for general advice on when people can be considered adults. The line was something like, Hachikuji, comma, when do you think you become an adult? That was the line. I think I have that correct, which could be read that way, and I would actually agree that that's probably how it's supposed to be read because of the way that Hachikuji responds. But when he's literally saying, Hachikuji, when do you think you become an adult? That was phrased in such a way that it was a little ambiguous. So, understood, but, is what it is. And then, of course, she, when he actually asks her later the question of, what do you consider yourself, or how do you view yourself, or whatever it was, then she gives the Detective Conan reference, which kind of says that she's an adult. I'm just going to take that as her saying that she's an adult, even if it's, or mentally an adult, even if it's as a reference, because I mean, she still used that reference for a reason, right? But yeah, true. Senjo's pencil tower mostly relates to her walling off Araragi, which, I mean, just makes it even sweeter that his love is what collapses it, right? So, the walls that they build between each other get destroyed by the love they have for each other. I mean, that's wholesome and sweet. It's just, I'm a little like concerned and curious, like this walling that they do, because I think they kind of do it with each other. I mean, Senjugahara and Hanakawa were doing some business, and then when it kind of became revealed, Senjugahara was apologizing. So she was kind of doing her own thing. That's kind of like a wall that's been constructed, a lack of communication that's being constructed between Senjugahara and Araragi. And then Araragi, of course, is doing all his things with all the other side characters, Hachikuji, Senjugahara, or Sengoku, blah, blah, blah. So I do think they do lack like a communication a lot of the time, maybe. But those walls that they put between each other, it almost feels like that's just part of their song and dance that they do to like, as part of just how they work as a couple, right? I don't know how I feel about saying that that's like bad. Because I mean, I'm a huge fan of communication, but like, I don't know. If it's working, like, let it work. But at the same time, like, I don't know. It could still be a problem. Because obviously, like, she was having some concerns about her relationship in the OP, whenever it was like her OP instead of the Karen B one. So, like, this building of walls, I mean, if they just have a habit of building walls, then what if they build a wall that's like eventually too strong for love to break down? Or what if the love starts to like become a little unsteady and start to fade, and you don't have you lack a foundation to go back on? Like honeymoon period kind of stuff, if you heard of the honeymoon period. I don't know. So I'm still a little concerned about the relationship being like how long lasting it'll be, but in the same way, like it does kind of feel like they have that. I mean, she kidnapped him, but it was kind of a cute couple thing almost. Not like a cute couple thing, but I think that's like they that's just how they work with each other. That's like a comfort, and not like a comfort. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain what I mean by that. What do you mean by that? A great question. But yeah, basically curious, concerned, but not like a red emergency flag. That's where I'm at with their relationship. Yeah, the walling off and the joke about foreshadowing his death. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they still got they got some issues, maybe a little bit, but hopefully they'll figure it out. It should also be clear that she's misspeaking about Hanakawa intentionally to mess with Araragi. Yes, but how much of that misspeaking is based in reality, right? Because didn't Hanakawa like say to her the line of like be a good girl or whatever, which obviously could just be like its own thing and like a very minor thing, but the misspeaking, like, yeah, I'm not taking that as literal fact, because obviously, like, Senjugahara is gonna Senjugahara, but at the same way, maybe it's based in reality, and maybe there's actually some business going on, and it's part of, like, Hanakawa becoming Giga Chad, right? Which, is elaborated of Hanakawa's trying to psych herself up with the cut hair to move on trope. Yeah, it's like, Hanakawa is kind of doing a thing, so maybe part of Hanakawa's moving on, psych herself up, experience, her arc there, is like being in a position of power over Senjugahara. Like, I could see that kind of being part of it, so the whole misspeaking could be somewhat based in reality. But no, yeah, it's not necessary, like, it's not one-to-one with reality. That'd be jumping the gun a lot. True. Araragi doesn't like to talk about stuff, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the absence of elements you expect is as significant as their presence. I agree completely, which we definitely see with, like, Araragi not telling us about the kiss between him and Karen, Araragi not showing us the kiss between him and Senjugahara, that kind of stuff. It'd be really crazy if this is complete crack. Let me just really quick get this out there. What if, like, the kiss between Araragi and Senjugahara, like, went really poorly or something, or, like, didn't happen? Because we didn't see it on camera, so maybe he excluded it because he wasn't, like, not because it was an intimate, like, wholesome thing, but because something went wrong. I don't know. That, like, us not seeing it makes it a little ambiguous, which is fun. I still think that it was, like, a wholesome, sweet moment. I'm not gonna assume that it just went wrong because we didn't see it, because I'd be jumping the gun. But that is, like, a little bit of an option, maybe. Depending on... I would have to, like, rewatch that episode low-key. But, yeah, true and real. Sun and moon imagery relates to which aspects of Araragi's mind Karen and Tsukihi represent, while the bee... This was crazy. While the bee and phoenix relate to his more literal issues with them, the birds and the bees. I mean, yeah, birds and the bees. The bee, Karen bee, the phoenix is a bird, birds and the bees, sexuality, boobs, Karen boobs, your boobs are half the size of Hanakawa's, etc., right? Which, I mean, them growing up, that's, like, everything going on. So I really like the birds and the bees foreshadow, or, like, analogy. And the sun and moon imagery relates to, like, which parts of the mind they represent. I don't know how they're treating sun and moon, right? like, what is the sun to Monogatari? What is the moon to Monogatari? Right? Like, I can assume a lot of like characteristics. Like, I don't know, I think of Apollo with the sun, and I could get all Greek with it, but I don't know if they're necessarily trying to like work that in. Um, or you could do like the whole like fiery, bright, passionate versus like the more calculating, deceitful, etc., which does fit with Karen and Tsukihi, which is cool. I don't know. Something to think about for sure. And then the sisters hatching from eggs. You do see where Karen's lower egg pin is located, right? I'm gonna be honest. When I read this, I had no idea what we were talking about. I looked back and yeah, it's like right on the story. It's like right on the zipper of her pants, which of course is like crotch, groin area, which then of course relates to birds and the bees. So that's another thing. But also like the whole, like the use of an egg specifically, definitely is intentional to like symbolize like them hatching in sexual maturity and I don't know, blah blah blah. You know, you can still draw a lot of the egg connections, as well as like the position of the eggs. Both of those are important. So yeah, true and real, basically. There was something in here that, yeah, this right here. Araragi also never showed us his kiss with Senjugahara, and I loved that so much. For them to, and this of course is relating to like we didn't get to see the kiss between Araragi and Karen, so twice now Araragi has hidden a kiss from us, which is just like, that's like an act of genuine intimacy as opposed to just pervy looking, you know? So it's like, is he just embarrassed and he wants to keep that private to himself? Or, you know, I just love that. And it's so cool that the precedent was set with Senjugahara, but now it's like a much more plot heavy thing, you know? Like for it to be brought back by that. The gag stealing funny, the decreasing temple thing. Yes, a couple people were mentioning that like right here as well. That's funny, you know, just another thing with the language that would go over someone's head if they don't know how the language works. But no, yeah, that's funny. We're losing temples. Hypocrite moment. The relationship between Araragi and Shinobu. Shinobu's being made into his pet. Still true. Just crazy relationship. And then yeah, the fire is in both of their names. Cause yeah, Karen's got that loud, like in your face fire, while Tsukihi's got that fire that she hides. But then it's almost like the hidden fire is even more volatile with the way that the personalities are like bouncing off of each other, right? Because of course Tsukihi is the one that has the hysteria, which would be like the hidden fire going crazy. Which is like, I don't know, I'm trying to, like, Karen is a really easy connection to make to Araragi. We haven't had Tsukihi's arc, so I bet the connections between Tsukihi and Karen, or Tsukihi and Araragi are going to become more obvious in her arc, because I am aware that her arc is the Tsukihi Phoenix or whatever is, like, next. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to see more connections between the two of them. Definitely, like, Karen, though, is really easy to contrast with Araragi, so it'll be pog. And yes, thank you for all the people that are nice. It makes me very happy. It makes me happy, basically, and I appreciate that. There were a couple other ones, I can't find them. But what else? Yes. Senjugahara, this was cool. Senjugahara walking past the school supplies. You can read as like her activating her defense mechanism. Her going in between the different outfits is actually her going in the different outfits she's worn during the show. So it's like her going back, almost like, not like walking back character development, but just kind of regressing temporarily into her defense mechanism in order to deal with the return of a past trauma, which was Kaiki, you know? So yeah, great symbolism there. I'm really a big fan of that. The street sign symbolism, of course, is really crazy as well. Yes, very good. This is all true. The Japanese woman cutting the hair to move on a love interest. Glad that, I think I've mentioned that once before, so glad that's confirmed. I did write down that recommend. I don't know, like, a lot of this is talking about, thank you, YouTube, for being pog. Thank you for the comment for the algorithm gods and the reply to the comment for the algorithm gods. This is funny. I'm going to bring this up real quick. So, I thought this was a D's Nuts joke, right? Because it kind of, like, reads, like imagine this. Hey, my friend D's recommended your channel, right? And so I'd be like, oh, thank you, D's, for I love you, D's, right? And then I would immediately get a comment that says, like, D's Nuts Omegalol and timestamp that. That was my fear. So I posted, like, this on the Discord and said, is this name a D's Nuts joke? And somebody looked it up, which is smart. I should have just looked it up. And it's like some sort of, like, Indian politician or something like that. So either this person is real and is actually, like, I recommend it's, like, also sweet and, like, wholesome, or it's actually just like a trick to get me to shout out an Indian politician. And honestly, I don't know which one I like more because both are just great options. So I'm gonna just to play it safe, not gonna get D's nutted. It is what it is, but I do appreciate the nice stuff as well, even if this is a D's nuts. But if it's not D's nuts, then sorry, you just got unlucky. Bad spawn, I guess. Bad spawn meaning like that your name is shared with a politician, if that's the case, because that makes it blah blah blah. You know what I mean? That's all I gotta say for that. Basically, I kind of want to just watch the episode again. I'll say it right when the episode's starting, the whole that I've already seen the first couple minutes of the episode. Just for people that skip this portion. Was there anything in episode 6 I wanted to bring up? I mean, it was just really good. There's so much good symbolism. The light bulbs, the sand, the unsteady tower, the walls that's built between them, but the wall itself is super unsteady, so it gets broken down with love. So is it just kind of play? Is it done for play, you know? I was thinking play, like the word playful a lot. Because, like, Shinobu and Araragi talking here was, like, highlight of, like, honestly, the season for me up to this point, I think. Well, also them in the bath was really good. Like, their discussion they were talking about. But them, like, Araragi's in such a grind set that he doesn't even notice that Shinobu's, like, playing with him, you know? With the whole, like, you can't, or you have to order me around. And he doesn't want to do that because he's taking everything super seriously right now. To which he says, okay, fine, like, I'm literally just messing with you. I mean, basically, right? And then he's like, oh, I get it now. So he starts to play along with it. I mean, that entire interaction is so good. And her whole like, oh, woe is me. What a shame. What a cruel fate that I have to obey the orders of a lowly human. You know, it's just so good. And it contrasts really nicely to Hachikuji as well. Because Hachikuji, of course, is in a similar position, roughly with her like age and mind thing, in that both Hachikuji and Shinobu look like 8-year-old-ish. I don't know how old Hachikuji's supposed to look exactly. Shinobu, I think, is supposed to be 8 or 9 here. So they're both in that really young age range, but also have the minds of an adult or something close to that, in case with Hachikuji being like a little bit vague compared to Shinobu, but both have like roughly the mind of an adult in a child's body, and then both have this same behavior of like teasing Araragi, and like there's like a negative thing. Like it's like they want Araragi to do something shameful or whatever because it's a joke and it's just for fun or whatever, right? Because with Hachikuji, it's the whole like she actually was here for the molesting thing because it was like their thing and it was fun. Fun is such a weird word to use there, but like she was fine with it and she kind of berated him when he didn't do it, right? And like teased him in another way. And then Shinobu did kind of the same thing where she's trying to do that like teasing no, where she's like, oh, woe is me, I don't want to. And that's what Hachikuji's doing with the molesting, but both of them actually are here for it, and it's like an expression of their relationship with Araragi. I just love that so much. And it's like, is there a connection to be formed between the teasing no, or whatever you want to call that, and like childhood or children or whatever? Is that why the two child characters are similar in this way? Maybe. Though also, Araragi at least compares Shinobu to Senjugahara, right? Because he said, you're also a tsundere, or whatever. So it could be beyond the children thing and just be like a bigger thing, a bigger concept. But I just love it. And it's such a good expression of their relationship. And Shinobu I'm so glad I latched onto her as a character that I was interested in, like in episode like 3 or whatever. Because she's just been such a good character. Despite all the things I've talked about, she's such a good character. And she's so fun. Okay, let's watch episode 7. I'll say the thing in the OP. Okay. Episode 7. Get this going in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I am drinking a Dr. Pepper cream soda little can, by the way. Kiss freak. Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up. I wonder if there's a connection to be made between, like, all the growing up birds and the bees sexual stuff that Araragi is uncomfortable with his sisters, and her having a fever, right? Because like a hot body, like temperature wise, right, is something that you could apply to both a fever and some, like I think you can also like make that connection with sexual stuff. Yeah, let's throw hands. Let's do it. Okay, what I wanted to say though, if somebody skipped the intro, because I mentioned it at the start, I have seen the first like 7 minutes of this episode. If you want the context, go back. But yeah, I know they're about to throw hands. That's about what I know. Just to clear the air, because I'm transparent. You know, I'm transparent with it. Like, have you consider this? What if the entire file got corrupted? You know, would you want me to just fake it? No, I would be transparent. I'd say, yo, I'm watching it again. File got corrupted, because it's kind of what happened. Not really, but you know. Point being, I've watched 7 minutes of this, but it's fine. Everything's fine. We're just watching the show, man. Let me relax. Let me relax, and enjoy this OP. Wait, these noble acts I perfectly perform? That's so not true. You don't perfectly perform them. That's the entire problem. But that's like the point, right? Is that is the problem? Because it's from her perspective where she's being like naive. Yeah, and it's crazy that like the two of them, their silhouettes or whatever flash between the two of them. They're like profiles. Araragi and Karen, right? Okay. Neither of you are in the best shape, but she's definitely in worse shape. Yeah, that line, my whole body is hot. Like, you could maybe try to connect some of that to the sexual stuff going on. I hate bees. I hate bees. Okay, dude. Oh, good dodge. Okay. But it's crazy, too, that he, like, Araragi admits that it's cool of her to talk like that. Okay. He got that. Oh, she doesn't even know he got that vampire blood. That's the crazy thing. I kind of forgot about that. That, like, she has no idea why he is this durable, you know? Doom, doom, doom. I wish I. Yeah, yeah. And now that she herself is comparing the heat to like a naughty thing, you know? It's funny. Comedy reference? Comedy reference? On the signboard. Let's go. Caught the leg. Unlucky. Recreation. I like how Shinobu's got an entire lounge in his shadow. I wonder if she brought a couch into his shadow. Imagine. It's just like his mental or her mental space or whatever. Oh boy. What might that be? See that devilish grin? Now, what is this feeling that you're saying, Araragi? Is this like you're inspired? No, he's just frustrated because it's too late now. True. Which is a good thing to hear from Araragi. He would have preferred if she was an adult, right? Copium? Okay. It's also crazy, though, that they're fighting in the first place, right? Because she came out here to deal with Kaiki, but their beef with each other is actually, like, getting in the way. Kinda. He is kind of in her way of dealing with Kaiki though. Chun-Li, Street Fighter, Bink. I love that move so much. Entire highway gone. But why is he a stop sign? Right. History is written by the victors. Yeah. So if I beat you, I can go, right? So this is why they're even fighting. Kind of. Mm. Right. And he's not even really trying that much. Well, I don't know. Conviction. I guess the word conviction is throwing me off. I guess like personal stake in it. But that's what he does, bro. And like you never go after evil people, just villains. Uh-huh. She doesn't know everything, is what she knows. Yeah. Yeah. Self-sacrifice, self-satisfaction. Okay. Mm. Aww. Aww. He says while hugging her. But I'm always proud of you. Aww. Aw, that's so sweet. It would be incestuous. Oh, nice. Wow, she actually was willing to. After that, I carried Karen home on my back. That's as much as I read. Wait, who's the squad? Who's the anti-Kaiki squad? Yeah. Naughty Ferris wheel? Why does it say that? Senjo Gahara. Okay, it is the duo. As planned, right? They had planned this. Brutal. You shone like darkness? That's a crazy line. Mm. Her like oddity made her worthy. That's really cool. Wonder why. I'll stop scamming the middle schoolers. Wait, Beaumont. You can cancel bee poison? It's called instant hypnosis. Oh. Oh, we're good. Whoa, wait. This is actually crazy. Do we trust him at all? Or is he just completely screwing with us? He really just said full repent. Yeah. Yeah. This is true. Well, or beg for my life. Surely. Perhaps. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Holding yourself back is like, that's crazy. That's why he considered the old one more worthy of deceiving. What do you spend all your money on? Suits? Haircuts? Why does he want... Okay. I'm kind of thinking he wants more than money. Because of what he was saying with Senjugahara. Hmm. Dude, he talked through the bird. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting conned. Like before. Oof. You overestimate me. Bakemono. That means monster, right? Bakemonogatari? Interesting. A fake Nisei. It's all coming together. What does he value in the dramatic though, right? Because yeah, because he valued Senjugahara when she was odditied up, you know, from your yeah. Okay, he feels Shinobu. Oh, the wings. Oh, he smells the bee. Yes, Hachikuji is a ghost, right? What kind of spirit, maybe? Okay. I know those who think they know. Oh, he's scary now. I'm scared now. Oh, do you have a Mm. I mean, Oshino is the one that told Shinobu. What do you mean wrong? Chapter 15 of an 18th century book. Oh, it was just wrong? Wait, our info is just wrong? Falsified history? They edited it. Or it just believed him. Okay. So she was in much less danger than we thought? That's why it was a low level monster? Is that kind of what we're talking about? Bro. Okay, yeah, because it was kind of weird that he was willing to kill her in the first place. The monster was fake too. Wow. The monster being the bee, right? Truly. Yeah. It's literally just a flu, basically. He just gave her the flu. Imagine just being able to give people the flu. That's so funny. Okay. Fire and oil. Oh, that's actually pretty sick. Fire makes me think of Karen. Ah, your rubidium. I don't know that connection. Is it a boomy connection? That's what I'm saying. Fire sisters. Charu and real. Did she just break his phone? That was just mean. That was horrible. Oh, that's funny. He just says that was horrible of you. I mean, it was, wasn't it? Okay, I'm ready. Don't make him close his ears. Oh no, she just goes for it. Okay. Brutal. Ooh, I'm just an enemy of evil. Okay. Yeah, and no wait, it's the snake one. It's not the bee. Uh, okay, yeah. Atonement was a lie. Profit and loss. Oh my goodness. Brutal. Heavier and fatter though. Okay, dude. This is true. Aww. Aww. I guess. Okay, actually though, or just no? Because what if you're just lying? I mean, you could scare him off if the risk reward gets too skewed. Oh wow. Not to expect anything dramatic. Ooh. Oh, jeez. He's just making things up. Why did... Okay. The bird. He talks to the birds. It's so funny. Oh. No, yeah, he's just making stuff up. Mistaken. Thought you'd say he's lying. But okay. Oh. Okay, yeah. The first that tried to help her. Kinda. That she thought was trying to help her. Mm-hmm. Ooh. True, he would say that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I just did. Compliment me. Brutal. No, yeah, you have to... Okay, I see. He was drinking black coffee out of a can. That's crazy. See, like, while she's, like, saying all this stuff to him, they're literally, like, dancing and, like, she's being all romantic with him, right? It's just intertwined into their relationship. What is happening? Why are they sleep together naked in a bed? Why? Okay, never seen that before. They're some very close sisters. Holy. Oh wait, Kaiki actually left. What are you guys doing? The Yuri sisters? Okay, dude. Okay, so he actually left. But they want to go be justice. Oh, look at them getting ready to go help people. Aw. Hmm. Seeing, like, helping people as a game, and then Kaiki shows up and just lies about everything and just is... I don't know, man. It's wholesome, though. My pride and joy. Dude, that's crazy. Because, like, they're fakes, but he still loves them. And I'm so proud of them. And then Kaiki was a fake. Oh, this is cute. Um, Kaiki was a fake, but still, like, was powerful in his own way. So, like, being a fake isn't necessarily... Like, the normal connotation of fake is different than the fake they're using, which is really crazy. Look at her massive tongue. That tongue is gargantuan. She really hit him with a whole tomato slice tongue. And like now they're like all playful, right? Oh look, her. Oh, it wasn't her. The what was that sound? The bottom egg wasn't from her shorts. It was from her jacket. It was just when she's fully unzipped. Is it down there? But there, it was zipped up more. Does the position of the egg zip on her jacket mean something? Maybe. Okay. And so it's just a little like goofy thing. Oh, it's Kaiki talking. Mm-hmm. You couldn't find a flip phone? Actually unlucky. Aha, I'll trick you out of your money again. This guy. This is really just Kaiki complaining about smartphones, bro. What is that? I wouldn't call it a fat phone. Brat phone. Okay. Hmm. He doesn't want to betray his old phone. Understood. Tsukiji Phoenix Part 1. And this was the lesson I learned today. Oh, okay. There's also the thing going on with the visual that like Senjugahara was the pure honest girl or whatever, and Araragi just got laid out for that. Oh, and he's getting handcuffed again. This is good news. Okay. Dude, time to like reread all the dialogue again, because that's just really where we're at. The value of a fake. How is Tsukiji Phoenix about to be fake? That's not what I'm thinking, right? Because like, dude, and rubidium and water. What are you talking about? Okay, very beginning, very beginning. This was all good. I want this part where, like, okay, fake for justice. Let me get some dialogue to work with. It's always nice to have some dialogue to bounce off of. Yeah. So they after like actually throwing blows, like that's them physically fighting. It doesn't really even matter. I mean, because the fight is between them as siblings and like their relationship. That's like what's really in turmoil, and the physical fight is just like a reflection of that, right? So when the physical fight kind of finds a pause, they actually are able to like talk it out, which is really sweet, you know. It's also so crazy just to be able to compare the Fire Sisters, or at least Karen, but let's say the Fire Sisters both to Kaiki as fakes. But like them being fake doesn't mean that he can't be proud of them, and him being fake doesn't mean that him being Kaiki, right? Kaiki being fake doesn't mean that he isn't like a threat. But yeah, you always talk like you're so much better than us. So I tried to make it so I wouldn't lose. And there's like the past is written by the winners thing is like that's what happened with the book and the fire thing, right? Kind of. Well, not really, but just like the past isn't even necessarily right. Like they're bringing in all that stuff. Like how do we even tell what's true and what's a fake at this point, right? Maybe like the because Kaiki is saying that there is no truth, right? I feel like he kind of said that at one point. Like it's all just whatever, and he's just fine with it. And then he hits her with the craziest bar. Physical strength means nothing. To be the real thing, you need strong conviction. That's good. I like that. Conviction is such an interesting word. Let me get that defined for myself. Like I have an idea in my head, but I want to get like a nice definition. Conviction, definition. A formal declaration that somebody is guilty, blah blah blah. Wait. A firmly held belief or opinion. The quality of showing that one is firmly convinced of what one believes or says. So, oh, okay. Yeah, there's no conviction of your own there. I would say that her conviction is justice, though, right? Whether it's like, even if it's a half baked, naive view of justice, where it's just the good guy, help people, go, yay, justice, right? I mean, I think that's their conviction. So for him to just say, like, no, that's not your conviction, is really interesting. Everyone else is just the reason. And it's as if she's wrong, right? Like the way that she's like, she starts to like lose composure in her own thing. Um, but like obviously she's still taking really strong action in everything she's doing to the point where it's reckless, right? So whatever's driving her is strong. I guess Araragi is just saying it's not proper conviction. We're doing what we think is right. Everyone else is just the reason. Yeah. How can someone who seeks a reason from another person be right? What? Okay, wait. Say that again for me, Araragi. How can someone who seeks a reason from another person be right? I mean, people aren't completely internally motivated, you know? While you're forcing that reason on someone else, how can you take responsibility? Okay, I mean, how can you take responsibility for someone else? Okay, wait, let me get that full thing in context one more time. The reason, yeah. My cat has joined. Frick, my cat distracted me. Retry. Try 3, okay? We'll get there, we'll get there. How can someone who seeks a reason from another person be right? While you're forcing that reason on someone else, how can you take responsibility? Like, you can take that's what you're doing. Like, Araragi is taking responsibility for his sisters, right? That's his reason for even going up against Kaiki, is because he hurt the sisters. You know, hurt Karen. Hi, baby. Do you need to leave? I can take you. I can take you. So it's just like, I don't know what the point. I'm confused on his point. Like, I disagree with his point, because getting your reason from someone else doesn't like negate your own conviction. Because if your conviction is to help the other person, like, I'm internally motivated to care for my family, right? Let's say, because that's what Araragi is, at least. So he's motivated to help his sisters, and that's, I would say, his conviction, even if it's not like internal. Okay, you're literally. I'm gonna have to get rid of the cat. It is what it is. It is what it is. Just, I don't even want to cut this out. You're in the way of my screen. I can't read the screen, honey bun. Come on. I know. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut that out either. Okay. Freaking cat. Okay. Now we're locked in. Okay, as I was saying, conviction. Like, what does he think conviction is? Because, yeah, I mean, she maybe seems a little unsteady. Like, she doesn't really know why she's doing it, other than just, like, it's justice, and, like, she wants to help people. But, I mean, like, while that's still vague, it serves enough as a fuel for her to do things, you know? How can someone who seeks a reason from another person be right? How could they be wrong? What makes them wrong? He seeks. Okay, maybe it's not that it's coming from another person, but that she's still actively seeking it. So, like, he's saying you don't actually know what you're doing right now. You're right now. You're seeking reason from another person. So how could you be right if you're unsure of your own conviction? While you're forcing that reason on someone else, how can you take responsibility? So while you're trying to get somebody else to be your reason, how can you take responsibility for it, as opposed to just like, it'd be like if he was doing it if Araragi was fighting Kaiki for Karen, then, like, is Karen held responsible? Kind of, because, kind of? Not quite. So yeah, maybe he's just, like, getting upset at her lack of grounding in her conviction, but, like, her conviction seems just naive to me, not ungrounded. And then this line, you never go after evil people, just villains. What? That's an interesting distinction, and, like, while I think I get what they mean, I mean, Kaiki, which is Kaiki? Because Araragi immediately goes after Kaiki as well, but he's not saying that he's an advocate of justice, that he's doing this for justice's sake. He's doing it because Kaiki, hurt his sister, right? So perhaps Araragi doesn't like how she calls herself an ally of justice. He doesn't see that as, like, good enough conviction. And since she's constantly, like, looking for reasons to do the act of justice, that makes her not necessarily right. You know? Where it's like, I'm driven by justice, but you can't just say, like, boom, justice, and apply it to everything. Like, you have to actually, like, be like weave justice into things. So whenever she's just aiming justice around at different problems, he doesn't like that, I suppose. You don't know anything, so shut up. Yeah, and it's like she's being framed as if she's like losing, right? Let's look at this line. Okay. No, she only knows what she knows. It's her little gimmick. Teehee teehee. Is what she knows. True and real? Okay. If you can't give up the idea of self-sacrifice and be content with self-satisfaction, you need to shut up. Okay, good. Self-sacrifice, self-satisfaction. So he is advocating for being content with self-satisfaction as opposed to self-sacrifice. Which really does feel like talking to himself again, because I feel like Kizu, right? He was very self-sacrificing with Kiss Shot. Shinobu, right? Soon to, or later defined as Shinobu. Yeah. So, frick. Okay, let's just keep going. Yeah, and then she counters with like my counter. What's wrong with doing something for someone else? What's wrong with self-sacrifice? And then what's wrong with being a fake? Aww. But I never said it was wrong. So it's not wrong to be a fake. It just causes him suffering. Or causes him... It is a problem for him, not suffering. That's a big word. If you're prepared to live with a sense of inferiority for the rest of your life. Oh my goodness. So, inferiority. Self-sacrifice. Yeah, I mean... Okay. So, like, the difference between self-sacrifice and self-satisfaction... if you feel inferior, then you value yourself less, which means you're more willing to self-sacrifice. But if you don't feel inferior, then you're more likely to try to satisfy yourself as opposed to sacrifice yourself. Like, I think I get that. So he's saying, like, if you're honestly fine with feeling this way and being self-sacrificing for the rest of your life, then even if you're a fake, isn't that the same as being real? It almost just feels like we're just blowing it all up, right? That I'm like getting tangled in weeds that the show's lighting on fire. You know? Because we're saying, even if you're a fake, isn't that the same as being real? And then Kaiki, of course, is a con man who is a fake, but is also kind of a real thing because he's doing oddities. And then the past that we were working with the Wreath Fire Bee was a fake. That was even given by Oshino, who we thought was a trustworthy source. Or it was relayed, right? You know, Oshino to Shinobu to Araragi. So, like, the past is fake. Her sense of, or, like, her conviction is absent and or fake, which makes her fake. But who cares? Is she still real? He says, I hate you. Giga Chat Araragi. Aww. Yeah, so like Araragi has a much more concrete reason to be upset compared to her, I guess, because while she's just relying on some abstract justice, right, which Araragi says lacks conviction, he actually has conviction in that he's getting revenge for Karen getting hurt. So I guess yeah, and like trying to look at each like the way that these two interact with oddities or just interact with problems, I feel like Araragi like gets personally invested with them. So, you know, Kizu stumbles upon Kiss Shot. He's the only person there to help her, and then he's willing to self-sacrifice for her because like they talk a little bit, whatever. He just kind of stumbles into it and it happens. Senjugahara literally falls into his arms, and then he decides like, oh, I can help with this. Like, let me help with this. I mean, Hachikuji just becomes his problem as well because he's been hit by an oddity, and now Hachikuji's someone that he's trying to help. So like they stumble into him, and then he gains a conviction because of his relationship with them, and then he does the thing where Karen tries to like she looks for problems while claiming it's an act of justice. But that lacks conviction in Araragi's mind because she doesn't actually have like a relationship formed there or like a proper conviction. How many more times am I going to say conviction? A great question. I think that's kind of more so what's being said. But his line of like, even if you're fakes, then you're still real. Maybe that's him addressing that that's just how she works and that's how he works, and that there's nothing wrong with the way they approach the things. Like, he views her as a fake, but that doesn't mean he doesn't love her. That doesn't mean he's not proud of her, and that doesn't mean she's not real. You know, it's just like maybe it's an accepting of the differences in their lines of action. I could see that, and that's really wholesome and sweet. Honestly, it's really sweet. Them hugging it out is so good. I'm angry, but I also feel pathetic. Relatable. Good counter Araragi, by the way, with the sweat. Yeah, and then it's an honor for him. So like that's again reinforcing that it's about their relationship. And that's his conviction. Aww. She says, I'm already in love, Nichan. Who are you in love with? What do you mean by that? I mean, you and your sister were cuddling pretty hard up a little later, okay? I'm not saying anything about that. Okay, oh, the flashy bit. Okay, we'll read this, then the actual flash bit. After that, I carried Karen home on my back. I don't think she'll be running off again. But just in case, I wrote, any man will do. On her face with permanent markers so she can't leave. Wow. While I was at it, I wrote, wearing a bra is a pain, so I don't, on Tsukihi's, since she shares responsibility. Good. Next, I went up to be with Senjigahara. He literally face marks them to make it so they can't leave the house, because if they did, then they would get attacked. Wow, that's phenomenal. You know what? I'm just gonna keep going. Oh wait, no, flashy bit. What? Oh, here it is. Okay. Araragi-kun, do you know shogi? It's a simple game, really. If you look closely, it's really shallow. The number of pieces and their movements are predetermined. The board's layout is fixed. Everything is limited, which means our possibilities are very limited from the moment the game starts. As a result, there's little room for it to become complicated, making for a shallow game. However, the best shogi players are all geniuses. In a game that separates a genius from a fool, only geniuses can reach the top. Why do you think that is? Because shogi is a game of speed. At the mastery level, they'll definitely have their clocks alongside the board. Despite such strict rules, the potential for enjoyment exists solely because it's a game whose only limiting factor is time. The focus is on the amount of time it takes to make a decision. In short, you're only as smart as you are fast. Anyone can apply famous strategies if they have the time. The important thing is not wasting any time. Okay, bullet chess or whatever. But shogi, right? And it's not only shogi, our lives are limited as well. The focus is on how much time it takes to make a decision. In other words, the important thing is how quickly you can think. As someone who has lived longer than you, let me give you a bit of a warning. Wait, but it's interesting because at the very top it says Araragi-kun, do you know shogi? So this isn't... Who is speaking here? As someone who's lived longer than you, let me give you a warning. Don't overthink things. In my experience, people who are absorbed in their thoughts are just as easy to fool as people who don't think at all. Think in moderation. Act in moderation. That's the lesson for you here. Wow, actual wisdom. Think in moderation. Act in moderation. That's a bar. That's such a good line. Who is saying this? Do I get a hint? Shinobu, question mark? I mean, that's my best guess. Wait, let me go back. Because it's to Araragi, because it's Araragi-kun, right? And I don't think this is somebody to one of the sister Araragis. I'm guessing Araragi usually means Araragi, right? Like our main boy, Araragi. So... But then the line, as someone who has lived longer than you, I mean, that just makes me think it's Shinobu. Because, like, who else talks to Araragi like this? Or it could even be, like, Oshino, right? Because Oshino's lived longer than him and would spit some bars. In my experience, people who are absorbed in their thoughts are just... Or it could be Kaiki. Ooh, Kaiki? In my experience, people who are absorbed in their thoughts are just as easy to fool. So this is somebody that fools people. Kaiki, question mark. Aha, I think it's Kaiki. Okay. So Kaiki gives the... I'm going to assume Kaiki. Kaiki gives the advice, think in moderation, act in moderation. So, like, it's almost like he's proud of being a fake because he's not getting his wheels stuck in mud with justice and with truth and all that. He's just accepting... He's thinking in moderation, right? Because there is the risk with a lot of like high level abstract thought, you know, justice, good, bad, freaking, or just overthinking in general. Like there's the risk of overthinking and getting absorbed in thoughts. So I could definitely see how or like the search for truth or whatever. Because like, oh, you want to search for truth? I mean, good luck. Let's start. Like, I'm personally a proponent right now. I'm not completely right now. This is my opinion, but the opinion could change. Is that truth just doesn't exist? There is no truth. That's my opinion right now. And the reason for that, and this is me trying to give an example of how the search for truth is something that people get stuck in. Because that's what Kaiki is saying, right? The reason that I don't think there's an objective truth is because every single way the human does things is subjective, right? My eyes are subjective. Whatever I see, like I could have a defect in here that's making me not see reality correctly, assuming reality is like a thing that exists, right? So since everything the human does is subjective, we can only see things subjectively to like, because it's in reference to us, then how are we supposed to have any idea of like an objective truth? And you could say, okay, what about like tools or whatever, right? Math. How is math subjective? Well, math is something we made up to try to like orient ourselves in reality, or as like orient ourselves and ground ourselves. But since math itself was created by us, it's like subjective to all our stuff like base 10, blah, blah, blah. Like maybe the true reality of everything is some mumbo jumbo that we can't even understand. I don't know. I don't want to try to like make a good philosophical like argument because I'm bad at that unless I'm talking to someone. It's a lot easier to do that for me if I'm talking to somebody. But my point, the important thing that I'm trying to say is that I don't think there is an objective truth, and trying to hunt it down and getting caught up in like truth and justice is a good way to like get stuck in your head. And like that doesn't mean you shouldn't think about it, right? But the point to think in moderation is super true, because if you're so, and like it's funny, I say that's super true, right? Like the word true is in my lingo and I'm over here saying truth doesn't exist. Blah 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 blah. Basically, I agree with this completely. I love the shogi analogy. I just related to like bullet chess, but chess is, based on what they're saying, chess is probably a lot more I don't know if I would ever call chess shallow, but that the entire board game analogy I think works really well to iterate that. Basically, and I like that a lot. Objective truth. And I'm not saying that like I'm not. There could be an N. Let me actually rephrase a little bit just so I can like sound better. There could be an objective truth out there, I would say, but I don't think humans could ever reach it. It's like a line you can reach but you can't, or a line you can approach but you can't reach. Like to use like math terms or whatever, like what I'm talking about. You got the line here and then the other line goes like nee, but never actually touches it. It's like that. Just because since we're fully subjective, we can maybe approach objectivity through like science, through tools, through collaboration with a bunch of other subjective things. Like we can get close to it, but we can't actually reach it. Whether there actually is an objective reality or not, or an objective truth to reach, I don't know. I'm just agnostic on that. Because I don't think we will ever know for sure. But who honestly cares? Like at this point, it's just me spitting a bunch of, and like language is subjective. Me even trying to convey this thought to you is just like flawed in all sorts of ways. Like I can't, like I'm bound to language, which is just something that humans made up as well. A bunch of subjective humans that were just trying to like talk about bananas to each other and like, and then it just spiraled out of control from there. Blah 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 blah. Basically, I'll keep the objective truth discussion in my pants. How about that? Does that make you feel better? Okay. Shinobu says, rub my breasts. Okay, dude. And then Adaraki's response, why didn't you say that to me when you were still an adult? Is that it? When you were still an adult. He was talking about how much he wanted those full-grown kiss shot booba, right? With Hanakawa, he was like, kiss shot had massive honkers and I couldn't do anything with them, but now you're here, so I'm going to do it with you. That was like the entire thing there. So for him to bring this up is kind of funny. But it's just like, Shinobu, you are a force of nature. And like her dress is like freaking out and all that stuff. It just is what it is. At this point, it just is what it is. It's crazy that she has her entire like couch in his brain though, or in his shadow. That's just funny. Conviction stuff, talked about a little bit. Kaiki having like a thing for, like he talks down on Shinobu for being normal as opposed to for being like dramatic or afflicted with oddity. Maybe like that's his one of his main drives is like almost like an entertainment value from drama, like a drive for drama. Um, because like I mean he talks down on her for that, or that could just be a tactic to go, like I don't know what to trust because it just feels like his entire thing is being fake, you know. So falsified history, right, is even brought up. Um, so like he's just a con man through and through. So do I even try to latch on to him saying that, or his entire like admonishing or talking down on Senjugahara for being normal? Do I latch onto that, or do I try to think like, okay, he's just trying to get under her skin to screw with her, to get her to do what he wants? But I did feel like he was being kind of genuine, which maybe I'm falling into his trap. But I feel like he was being kind of genuine when he said the line of like, you were more worth deceiving or something. Was it this? I didn't want to see you. Okay, no, that's not it. I feel like he said something like you were more worth deceiving when you were odditied up, or whatever term he used. Um, which is interesting. Yeah, like he's just getting under everyone's skin. Hmm. Yeah. And then Senjugo Har, of course, had the Giga Chad line of it was the student's fault for even messing with you in the first place. That is funny and very Senjugo Har to say. Which is kind of, I mean, Adaraki kind of said the same a little bit with with just now with, Kaiki says, shouldn't you be more upset? And he said, it's her own fault for getting intertwined with you. And Kaiki says, no, it's actually not. It's her fault for getting intertwined with me alone. Oh, that's why I keep using the word admonish, because he freaking said it. So I'm just copy pasting. Dude, this dialogue was going crazy. Yeah, like he values, well, he values Karen because she's trickable, because she's kind, right? Right here. True, she isn't. Wait, where'd my subtitles go? Hello. Right here. But denying her kindness is a mistake. And without girls like that around, I wouldn't have anyone to con. Yeah, I'd be out of business as a con man. He's just such a fake, which is like the point. And that's just crazy to me. It's also crazy that he feels the unpleasant presence from your shadow, which is, why is the bee in his shadow? I thought the bee would be in his body, right? Did Shinobu like do something with it? Because like I was thinking Shinobu, right? Because Shinobu's in his shadow. But then he says you've taken up half of your sister's pain upon yourself, and then the shadow transforms into the bee. But it's like, look, it's like the bat wing, which is like vampire on one side, and then the bee on the other side. So I guess both oddities are being reflected through his shadow. Um, which is cool. Well, I think this is Batwing, or this could be like, yeah, I think it's supposed to be like a vampire thing, because what he still has his like hair slick up, so this is like his vampire form, and then he's got the antenna on the other side, which is like the bee form. But it's like, if everything is fake, what's your line about truth and fake? I want to get that line. Then like, why money? How is money the right thing? Why have you latched onto money? Yeah, you're ruining my fun. Same thing with like he wants a drama, like being driven by drama. He's drinking music too. Luigi's Mansion OST, basically. I just, like, what is he talking about? He knows the people that know about the supernatural, but dude, you're the one that used the bee on Karen. Like, you knew about the bee. He's just talking. And then he smiles, he bares his fangs, and then immediately disproves himself by he says, I don't know anything about the supernatural, and then immediately starts talking about the supernatural. And like it says the correct, what actually the wreath bee is. He corrects a fake with I guess, a truth in the what the bee does immediately after saying that he doesn't know anything about supernatural stuff. Like, what a guy. It's just so hard to... He's crazy with it. Can I get my subtitles, please? I cannot... Okay. There we go. You feel like they exist, so you feel like they're there. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. And then Karen and Araragi both just disintegrate into nothing. This guy's just having fun being a con man. That's just what it comes down to. Just like Senjugahara said. And he said. And then inferiority. I mean, that's literally what... the word that he used with Karen as well. You know, inferiority and fake. But he's proud of it. He's, like, fine with it. Proud of inferiority making you a fake. That's just crazy to me. Okay, keep going. I gotta, like, simmer with this one. This dialogue is hard for me to decipher. I'm not even gonna lie. Oh, I made out with my sister. You know how it goes. It's worse than water and oil. Fire and oil. He's just talking. Rubidium and water. So he's the thing that causes the boom. Or at least the crazy element. Karen and Tsukihi are the fire to his oil. Yeah. It's crazy. And then she crushes his cell phone and says, I don't care about the kids. I don't know him. Which is, like, kind of the thing with what I was talking about with Araragi's motivations. Like, once he gets to know somebody, he really tries to help them. But at the same time, well, but that's not even completely true, because with the snakes, the Deco snake, right, with Sengoku, he wanted to stop the second snake, and he didn't even know the boy that it was going back to. Like, he didn't want the snake to go back to its original person. So Araragi doesn't only help people that he stumbles into. Well, he kind of, like, I guess, like, he tries to fix problems that he stumbles into, not even if they're not attached to a person. While Senjugahara needs to actually, like, care about a person to want to help, I think. Yeah. She's kind of got her own grind set going on. While Karen and Tsukihi seek out people to help. Seek out problems. They look for problems. Araragi deals with problems that happen near him. Senjugahara only deals with stuff if they're intimate enough to her. Is that kind of where we're at? I love how she warns Araragi too. She says, she's like in her mean voice, you know, blah blah blah. Araragi-kun. You know, she like flips it. It's so funny. It's their own fault for being tricked. I mean, victim blaming, Giga Chad, but like, I don't know. Look at Kaiki for like 2 seconds, and if you trust that guy, then you've kind of dug your own grave. I mean, it's like there's a little bit of truth in that, but also they're middle schoolers getting attacked by spells. Like, sorry that I, as a middle schooler, when I have a snake wrapped around me, a bit at the first worm to try to like get cured of my snake, right? So sure, but also they're middle schoolers. Even if it's their own fault, doesn't mean that like it's not also his fault, and also we shouldn't help him or anything. But then she says, not an ally of justice, enemy of evil, which is a bar. It's just like, when do they fight, right? For her, it's not about justice. It's about when evil is in her life. She's like getting rid of it. Yeah. But then she brings up a good point that it's not even that she just like hoed a bunch of kids, but that the kids were going to get hoed even if she didn't do anything. To which he's like, yep, true. And I'm lying, by the way. Making money isn't a matter of profit and loss. Then is it just for fun? Like money is just the thing he's latched onto because everything's fake and he's just picked one? You know? He's like, I want drama in my life. And getting money is a good way to run into drama because that means I do cons and all sorts of stuff. Dramatic or not, you used to be wonderful. Oh, mega lol. Yeah, and then Kaiki says he'll leave town. Because he doesn't want to mess with a budding relationship. That's cute. Wait, what was that line? If you're not going to ask for it, I won't attempt to atone. Yeah. And then is he lying about Senjugahara's past? Does it even matter if he's lying? Because she said that she had dealt with her past, like, after this. Like, through him, or whatever. Oh, yeah, right here, right here, right here, right here. Does it matter if it's a lie? There's no such thing as truth in this world. Man, he just says things. But that's the point. It's kind of beautiful. It's like unreadable. He's an enigma. And then he immediately just starts throwing stuff out there again just to stir the pot. Wait, what would never happen? Oh, yeah. And this was also some really good stuff about her being infuriated that she probably would have fallen for whoever saved her. And so it's like, I fell for... Because it was the question of, like, why do we love each other, right? And so she's in fear... Yeah, it's totally that. She had the question of, like, why do we love each other, right? Which was in the OP. And then Araragi said, you know, I don't need a reason, I still love you. And she kind of comes to the conclusion herself that she's in love with him because he's the one that saved her. And it's just, like, it could have been anyone. It would have been anyone that saved her. And that's where, like, the root of her issue is. That she's, like, not confident in her feelings for him. Not that the feelings themselves are, like, going to break or fracture, but that those feelings could have not landed on him pretty easily if somebody else walked into her life. Which is, like, I don't know. I like that. That's an interesting little dilemma. And then it's let's go home, and she is ready for some Araragi action. You know what I'm saying? She saved the response. She saved it for later too. This thing. What's the word? The request. Because she didn't use it up on screen, so maybe she's saving it. You know. I'm a cute soft girl. Wait, right here. I wanted to watch the very end of this. But yeah. Aw. It's sweet. Like, it's such a sweet relationship. Please be gentle with me tonight. Bring! Okay, dude. Yeah. It's just their song and dance. But it, like, doesn't matter. Like, if what they're saying is true or fake or falk or Nisei or whatever. Falk? What's a falk? Doesn't matter. What matters is that the feelings are still there, and the feelings are what matter. And they love each other, right? Very wholesome. And extraordinarily wholesome. I really like that. And then the sisters are good. Don't know why they wrote... They're just sleeping together naked. I mean, you know what? Y'all do whatever you want. Okay. And they're off to go do justice. Where justice itself, true and real, and fake, and pride, and proud, and wholesome, and sweet. Basically. But because of that, they're closer than anything to the real thing. Wait, what? My pride and joy, my little sisters I'm so proud of. Fakes. Fake justice is closer than anything to real justice? Question mark? The line that you, the thing I said earlier of, like, the line that you approach but don't reach, perhaps? That them faking it is the closest you can get to it, but you can never truly get to it. I could see that being a thing. That's kind of cool. I like that. If that's where they're going. I think that's kind of where they're going with it. And then, of course, them just freaking goofy. Aw, the goof. Aw, goofy, goofy, goof. Wow, look at this calendar. Freaking Kaiki in this ED, by the way, is just how I feel every day of every moment of my life. His face. I want that as an emote. This is so good, actually. He just looks so goofy. Okay. Honestly, though, that's probably all I really got for this. Really interested to hear what y'all have to say on this one. Because, dude, it just got wrapped in so much, like, fake and reality stuff, you know? Oh, look, the any man will do thing written on a forehead. Wait, what? That was a thing in the, when was that said? Wait. This says any man will do. Wearing a bra is a pain, so I don't. To make sure they don't leave the house. Was that in the flashing bit? Oh, no, that was in this bit. When it said that he carried them home. Right here. Dude, that's crazy. They literally flashed to her face having any man will do and wearing a bra is a pain. They literally flashed to that during the episode just randomly. Which in the moment, I didn't even notice and made no sense with no context. It's like, what does that even mean? But no, they talked about it in the flashing bit. That's just crazy how this show goes. Also, the whole, like, marionette thing is some interesting visuals. Because they're, like, fake people, right? If you want to view it that way. Oh, and look, one of the street signs are on, one's off. Sun, moon. You want to, is that, like, the distinction there? Maybe, like, micro visual storytelling there. There's just so much good stuff. I need to watch a freaking, like, analysis of this show. But I'll do that after I finish all of Monogatari, I guess. Which is going to be a long time. But honestly, that's all I really got for this episode. On to the next episode 8 of Nisemonogatari. First episode of, what's her name? What's the name? Tsukihi Phoenix. So that should be exciting. Definitely am curious. Because, like, the Karen Araragi connection was really strong. The way they, like, contrasted each other and, like, complemented each other. So I'm really intrigued on the Tsukihi Araragi connection. So that should be exciting, especially with the whole sun and moon thing in mind, because that's something that, like, I'm kind of aware of as a thing, but not to the point of actually being able to do anything with it, you know? So hopefully that'll spit some bars. Should be exciting. On to the next episode 8. Of course, if you made this far into the episode, I do appreciate not that many people do. You know, 5%, 4%, whatever it is, you're here, and that's what matters, and I appreciate you for that. If you like the video, subscribe. If you're new, blah, 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 you already know how it goes. Comment down below if you have anything to say. Join the Discord and talk to me there if you do, or if you want to. That's usually the best way to reach me. But until then, until next episode, that's all I got for you. I'll be seeing you then. Peace.